Hello, everybody. Kevin Pritchett here again with another episode of the Law Office of Kevin Pritchett Keeping It Real podcast. This podcast is dedicated to keeping it real, telling you for real what it takes to build wealth, giving you legal analysis, retirement income planning analysis, and just general common sense business analysis and thoughts to help you grow your wealth safely. So today we're continuing with the Deadly Money Trap series, always a very popular series when I give this either live or on the podcast. Today's topic is losses. Oh, before I forget, let me add the legal disclaimer. This podcast is for general information purposes only. It is not intended to be used as investment advice, legal advice. If you need investment advice, financial advice, or legal or financial, legal, or investment advice, you should seek out licensed practitioners in each of those areas. Okay, that's out of the way. Today, losses. This is one of my favorite topics because when I explain this, it kind of lifts the veil for people on what's really going on, the power of losses. In the previous podcast episodes in this Deadly Money Trap series, I talk about the impact of something like taxes. Total tax rate for most people is well over 40%. You're running around worried about getting a higher stock market return, from 6% to 7%, 7% to 10%. When taxes are over 40, you're disregarding the impact of taxes, so that incremental increase you get on taxes is useless. Same here with the power of losses. The power of losses to wipe out wealth is enormous. Let me give you an example. I've used this example before. If you start out with $100,000 and in year one you lose 10% and then year two you gain 10%, are you okay? Are you back to where you started? And the answer is no. Start with $100,000. 10% loss is you lost $10,000. You're down to $90,000. If you make 10% on the amount of money you have left, which is $90,000, you're only making $9,000. So at the end of 2 years, you only have $99,000. You are not even back to where you started. Not to mention the 2 years worth of loss of gain opportunity you lost off of the original 100,000 because you lost money straight off the bat. What if you had a situations where you could get access to gains and have none of those losses? I'll talk about, of course you say you'd like that. I'll talk about that in another podcast. But today, I just want to drill down deeply on the impact of losses. Okay, so you see that example. If you have a loss and you have the same percentage gain, you don't gain back what you started. You aren't back to where you started. The impact of losses is enormous. Back in 2022, the cumulative losses, or the losses per year, were something like minus 21% in 1 year, minus 17% in another year, minus 9% in that third year, back to back to back. There are people to this day, who have not recovered everything they lost in those 3 years. And of course, we had another loss year in 2008. The impact of losses is enormous. One of the best investors in the world ever known, Warren Buffett, says rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. I tell people when they come in to get a consultation and analyze where they are with some of these issues, I tell them if they aren't in a position to lose 10%, 20% or more, then they need to pivot to risk-free strategies. And there's plenty of risk-free strategies that you can use. So my friends, when you are looking at your wealth accumulation strategies, especially if you're in retirement or pre-retirement age, you need to get your handle around losses and get your handle around What I mean is eliminate the possibility of losses. If you have questions about what strategies you could use to get some gains, growth, without losses, fill out the link below to sign up for a consultation with our office. We do an analysis of your situation and let you know exactly what your opportunities are to avoid these losses, to build your wealth in these strong, no loss areas. All right, my friends, that's all for today. Until next time, Kevin Pritchett from the Keeping It Real podcast, signing off.